Something about shooting black and white that just has this inherent fun quality to it. I find when I was shooting color, I was just you capture the scene, you capture what's going on, but there tends to be you know when there's shadows, sometimes the shadows are distracting to the image, or they just kind of take away from the overall image. But I think when you're shooting black and white, the shadows, the dark space adds interest and brings attention to the light, the brighter areas. You know, when I took a photo, and it was of a restaurant, and they had large open windows. Well, not large, but a third of the wall was window, and it was enough that you could see inside, see the workers, closing for the day, picking up stuff, and I got that photo, and it's very much, you can see what's going on outside, you can see the shadows, but that darkness of the outside draws the eye into the action of what's going on inside because it's so much brighter than outside. And outside's this kind of you know so you're able to create more, in my eye, a more powerful image than you can with color. Now obviously some images look great in color, and that's why I shoot JPEG and RAW, and I'll let the JPEG be the image that I've from the camera, that I've applied a few little tweaks and settings to in the camera to try and get a straight out of camera JPEG that I like. And if it's not exactly what I like, I can process the RAW into what I like, or change my mind later on that maybe I want color or whatever. And the funny thing is when I started with photography, I used to think, shooting black and white and, some of the other settings on it, I used to just kind of think it was, I used to really just think it was kind of gimmicky. But the more the more photos I take, and the more, no, really just the more photos I've taken, the more I've kind of changed what I look for in an image and what I try and create. And it's one of those things, just like in everything that you do in life. As we grow, or as we learn, what we're drawn to and what we do changes over time. There's nothing wrong with that, and it's actually one of those, there's a benefit to that. If you just sticking with the same, doing the same stuff over and over, you kind of, you don't really, I think part of it is, just when I started shooting black and white, or when I was experimenting with shooting black and white, I first started, getting serious about photography. I didn't give it enough time. I didn't put effort into it. I would take a couple of photos and be like, I wasn't. There's a difference when you shoot an image black and white and when you're shooting an image for color. And also, black and white, in my eye, looks better with more contrast. In the camera, it looks better when you increase the amount of contrast on it. It creates more drama to the image. And it also, to me, it takes, a nice modern place, and you can give it this older feel to it. And I think it's just, it's something if you've never, on your camera, if you've just always kept it, even if you haven't gotten out of auto mode, if you haven't experimented with different aspect ratios or different, however it's in your camera, as I think in Sony's it's either under picture styles or creative modes or image styles or something. If you haven't tried those different settings in there, maybe there's high contrast black and white or sepia or however it's pronounced, give those modes a try, and if you're unsure, you can get a raw, I know if you have a Fuji or a Sony, you can get a free editing software. You can get Capture One and use that. And I'm pretty sure Canon still has their raw processing software. It won't let you do as much as you can with, like, say, like Lightroom or something like that. Capture One is a pretty robust software, but most cameras that can shoot RAW do come with some kind of bundled software that'll allow you to take the RAW file, process it. So even if you're shooting one of those creative styles, shoot in RAW plus JPEG, and if you're not happy with that image that you captured, you can process that RAW file to be color or whatever. And it's also, worthwhile. I wouldn't, obviously, if you're just getting started, you probably, it's not like you'll be taking, like, serious photos, but if you're taking photos for something that you need the photos for, I would just stick to, shooting in auto mode and just keep it normal. You shoot RAW plus JPEG, and then you can have that RAW file to tweak around with and see how, different images look in black and white or different tones to them or whatever. But yeah, just experiment with different styles on your camera and different settings and stuff like that. And at the end of the day, if I've been shooting for long enough that I know what settings, like when I buy a camera, I know what settings I'm putting when I purchase it. So if you buy a camera and you go play around with the settings and for whatever reason you're getting images that are just like something's not right at all, go in the menu and just go to the reset and reset the camera. If you're new to photography and you went through there and I highly recommend watching a video on your camera model that you purchased. There's usually someone that or multiple people that have made videos or websites that you can find where people will mention, their settings for whatever. Like, street, you can Google or look on YouTube, or actually you could probably Google because Google will show you YouTube results as well. But you could search for, RX100 street photography settings, RX100 black and white, RX100 portraits, and you can go through there and look at what other settings people are using and either write them down or write down however you want to, whatever you need to do to document those setting options, and give them a try. See how you like the different settings and how you like the various results from each setting. Take a notebook around with you. I keep a notebook in my camera bag when I'm carrying one, or I can just take notes in the Notes app on my phone. But a little small notepad and a small pen or pencil or a note-taking app on your phone. Go in there and either take a if you wrote down what settings you're going to use or whatever, take a photo of that and then take pictures using the put those settings into your camera, take some photos with those settings, and then when you import your images, you can compare, and you can even sit there. I've done this before, where I've gone and put pieces of tape on the floor, like put a piece of tape in the hallway in the house, put a piece of tape in the living room, 10 feet from the mantle or the fireplace. go outside, put a piece of tape, put pieces of tape, and what I'm getting at is basically go take the same photo from the same place, and you kind of want to do this at the same time of day, like not do it like at 8 o'clock today and 8 o'clock tomorrow, but basically go take 3 to 5 photos. Pick 3 to 5 different places right around your house, or if you're on vacation and you're messing around with camera settings and stuff and trying out different settings, pick a few places in the area. Now, if you're on vacation, you're probably not going to be able to put pieces of tape places, but just try and remember where you were standing. That way you get the same view of whatever it is. But go take those 3 shots, and then go change the settings on your camera to a different set of settings. Go back, take those photos again, and do that for a little bit. Obviously, you kind of want to be quick. That way your lighting is not going to change, and your images won't be really different because of that. But then you can import the photos, or just go through the images on the screen of your camera and see what you like about each one. But in between each set, take a photo of either a note card or notepad or something to where okay, these settings are using high contrast black and white. These photos were taken using normal black and white with the contrast turned up. These were taken with black and white with the contrast turned down. This was in sepia. This was what I got when I put it on miniature mode or toy camera mode or whatever modes that you're wanting to set. Or this is what the settings I got from Bill's camera blog. I don't know. If Bill has a camera blog out there you go, Bill. I just plugged you. But do that and see what you like about each image. And there may be that you have one set that you prefer when you're taking photos of nature. You may have one that you prefer for street photography that you've learned in that little experiment. But don't not try something because you're afraid of, or you're worried that the results aren't going to be great. Set aside a day. It could even be a day where it's just kind of just a dreary day where you're not going out and taking photos anyway, or you're just not really feeling creative that day, but you still want to do something photography related. Go around your house, take those photos, try different settings, and see what you learn as a result. But like I said, my biggest advice, carry around a little notebook. It can be like one of those little top flip little notepads or something, a little small pen, or use a note-taking app on your phone. But it's a good way to be able to document stuff, document settings and different things. That way when later on when you decide, you know what, I really like how this image is, you can remember what settings you were using. So, and then you can always just keep that, you can use the little note card while you're kind of just jotting stuff down. And then once you actually get some settings that you like, go in the Note app on your phone and type in landscape photos, use high contrast black and white, turn sharpness -1, contrast plus 1.5. You can set up, whatever focus mode you were using, whatever white balance, or whatever. Just make whatever notes you need to make, and there you go. So, thanks for watching. Have a good one.